Our first speaker today, first keynote speaker today, is a dynamic journalist and communication strategist renowned for her advocacy work in maternal and reproductive health. As a TEDx speaker, she has inspired countless individuals with her powerful insights and compelling narratives. She specializes in helping brands, nonprofits, and development organizations achieve their communication goals through tailored media strategies and impactful storytelling. Her expertise lies in stakeholder engagement, ensuring that every voice is heard and every story is told. Through her digital talk show, Vital Talks, she equips women, families, and caregivers with essential information to make informed decisions about their health. She's dedicated to shifting public opinions, widening public conversations, influencing policy, and creating sustainable support systems that empower communities. Ladies and gentlemen, talking to us today, sharing her insights on redefining leadership and embracing authenticity. Please put your hands together as we welcome the remarkable Madame Ayuk Renette.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and a few gentlemen who are accompanying the ladies this morning. Good morning. Please, I want to hear you talk. Like she said, I'm a journalist, of course. I'm a communication specialist, and I'm also an NC. So when I talk at events, I want it to be engaging. I don't just want to be talking alone. Yes. It's true, I'm on the podium this morning, but this talk, this summit will not be anything without your presence. So my talk can only be successful with your participation, okay? So if I ask a question or I want you to engage in one way or the other, please do engage. So good morning. That's better. Thank you so much, MC, for that introduction. For a minute, I was like, is that the bio I gave to Rudy? Or is that somebody else? Thank you so much. And thank you, Purpose in Action, for this opportunity to change minds, influence decisions, and ignite change in this place this morning. I am very happy to be doing this, and I'm very much happy to see some familiar faces. Neris, we know ourselves way back in CYJ, Christian community. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. And this year's summit theme, Redefined. Rudy has said so much already. The theme is inviting us to consider the possibilities of what we can achieve when we break status quo, when we break conventional norms, when we see things differently. And my theme, what I'm going to be talking about this morning, Rudy says I should talk about, let me get that right. Redefined, embracing authenticity, redefining leadership, embracing authenticity. And this theme is inviting us to think differently, this topic. So what we are going to be doing throughout the next few minutes that I have, we're going to be thinking differently. How many of you here consider yourselves to be leaders? Let me see your hand. You consider yourself as leaders. How many of you do not consider yourself as leaders? Those whose hands were not up, I need them up now. So how many of you consider yourselves to be leaders? Can I, my sister with the red heart, you don't consider yourself a leader? Because I didn't see your hand up. Why don't you consider yourself a leader? Let me see. Anybody? Yes, please. Okay, you're still learning. So you don't consider yourself as a leader. Can I have another person who doesn't consider themselves a leader? Anyone else? The gentleman, Your hand was up? Okay. So why do you consider yourself a leader? Can you share with us why you consider yourself a leader? Good morning. Yeah. That's it. And this is one of the definitions of leadership from a top renowned leadership coach. He says, John Maxwell, he says, leadership is primarily influence. It is emphasizing positive impact on others. So at a point in time, everybody, everywhere, is influencing someone to do something. So if you think you're not a leader, I'm here to shock you. You are a leader. So maybe by the end of my talk, you're going to realize that you've been leading in ways you cannot even imagine. Sometimes people think that leadership is about having the front seat. People think that that's a conventional, right? Because we're here to redefine everything. So let's look at the old way of leadership. They think it is this manly, commanding voice with abs. Even when we were in secondary school, when you were going for prefectship, who were the people you were looking for to be your SP? Let's share quickly. The tall guys, the commanding tone guys that had the deep voice, smart, charisma. They had a physical, presence. Those are the people we thought were the leaders because we have a picture of leadership in our mind, such that the people who seemed timid, but they are not. Nobody's timid. I usually just say nobody's timid because if you take a fish and put the fish on dry land, you don't expect the fish to swim. The fish will die, right? Because that's not their suitable environment. The fish cannot live there. So you cannot say somebody is timid when they are faced with other people who seemingly look more outspoken. Perhaps that person is not just in their favorite or suitable environment. Put them elsewhere. It's like a toddler. I have kids. And sometimes when my kids go to places, people are like, these your children are very quiet. I say, they will shock you. They are not angels. You need to see them in the environment. You understand? So sometimes you think that you are not leading because you are not in a suitable environment. So when we want to choose those SPs in school, we look for those very big masculine guys who command presence, who have the deep voice. But the people who seemingly look timid, we're like, no, this one cannot lead. But there is a category of leaders who lead from the hiding. They influence decisions. They don't need to be on stage. I can bet you that there are people in purpose and action that you never get to see. But they are influencing the things that you're doing. They are influencing the decision that the organization is making. There are people who've influenced this summit that you never see them on this pulpit or this altar or podium, whichever. Church gear, I keep saying church names. Okay? But those are people, they are leading. So you don't need to be at the front to lead. So now let's trash that conventional way of leadership. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be at the front, but that's not the only place to lead from. Now let's look at what could be possible. Because sometimes they tell us that for you to be a leader, you need to have all the answers. As a leader, I'm here to tell you that you don't need to have all the answers. Sometimes it's okay not to have all the answers. And it's okay to lead from a place of empathy, vulnerability. Those are the qualities that sometimes conventional leadership wants to bury. But what if that those very qualities, like empathy, like being vulnerable, are what the society needs today? We need leaders that can see through us. Leaders that can hold your hands and tell you what you're going through. I've been through it. A few months ago, I held the hand of a mother who lost her baby to a vaccine reaction. She had a 3 months or so, a 4 weeks old baby that she took for vaccination, and the baby passed away after the vaccine. The baby reacted to the vaccine. And I am, like you heard in the bio, I help mothers and families make informed decisions about their health. I help mothers and families make informed decisions about their health. How? By telling stories. Take the stories of other people, my own story, pouring from my experience. And this experience is informed by something that shook the very core of me in 2020. I was faced with a decision, a very tough one, which I made. So when I was talking to this mother, when she called me that morning, I was making breakfast for my family when her message came in. And she said, Rennette, I lost my baby girl. I had to drop everything I was doing and I rushed to her, held her hand, spoke with her, encouraged her, and reassured her that whatever she's going through, I've been through it. This is what happened to me when I lost my own baby. This is what I did. These are the steps I took to heal. I didn't hide the pain. I even cried. I remember shedding a tear. But somebody else will tell you, no, you have to be the strong one. Don't show vulnerability. Don't show weakness. Don't even tell them you've been through. It is not about revealing your entire life to people, but you need to bring the people that God has brought to you to influence, to a place where they can see through you and understand that if you have been able to go through this, then they can go through it equally. And that mother said, one of the reasons why she even reached out to me is because she knows my story, she's heard it partially, and she knows that I would be the only person in the right place to tell her the right things. Everyone around her was just telling her, get about it was just a 4 weeks old baby, it's fine, you'll be okay. But I had to reassure her that her pain was valid, that her grief had a place, and that she is not mad to be grieving and crying and wishing that her baby was here. I had to be vulnerable, lay myself bare to her, and that's leadership. That helped her to get up. Then she decided that she would have to get back to work. She healed faster than she had planned. Now that's what we do when we redefine conventional norms or break conventional norms of leadership. You don't just go in there trying to influence people and play all tough and play like you know it all. Sometimes cry and even tell the person, you know what, let me do more research and get back to you. It is okay to be vulnerable as a leader. Now, let's look at what needs to be redefined, which is the core of leadership, of true leadership. So what does it mean to embrace your authenticity in leadership? It means showing up as you are, showing up as your whole self, showing up the way you are, not pretentiously, not trying to fit into what society calls normal or acceptable, not trying to figure it all out, but show up as you are. So everywhere you are, anywhere you are, in any community, whether in your family, let me tell you, you might think that you're not leading, or sometimes some of you even put your hands up saying that you're leading. What did you have in mind? Did you think that that leadership is about owning an organization like this? Okay? Even in your homes, how many of us are mothers? Let me see those who are mothers. Even if you don't have biological children, but you have people you're mothering, you don't need to have biological children to be a mother. Okay, if you have people under your care, you're nurturing, you're educating, you're a mother. And in your home, right there, you're already leading. You don't need to have a stage like this. Sometimes we feel that only those who are ahead, in front, on stages, in the limelight, or in the spotlight are the ones leading. But no. So right in your home, you can show up the way you are to your children. It means showing up from inside out, your values. Let your values shine out. That is why we cannot talk about redefining authenticity in leadership without looking inside. What are your values? Because what are you going to be leading from? You'll be leading from what is inside of you. You cannot fake it. Remember I talked about being authentic, being vulnerable. How would you be able to let your true self shine through if you do not cultivate your own values? We're going to get to that. So I said you have to show up as you are, okay? That's how to embrace authenticity. You have to lead with your uniqueness. Find what makes you unique, what makes you special, what makes you different. Recognize your individual strength. And your experiences, your values, your failures, all of that are part of your unique makeup. So lead with all of it. Embrace vulnerability, not weakness. Because there's a difference between being weak and being vulnerable. You can be vulnerable, it means allowing yourself to feel the moment, for people to see through you in the moment. But weakness means breaking down and giving up. So, embrace vulnerability and not weakness. And like I mentioned, it's not about oversharing. When you are leading people, whether it's in your home or in your local church, or even in that small school club, you don't need to overshare your entire life with people. Just be vulnerable. Just allow them see your authentic self. Just be you. Don't fake it. Don't go claiming that you have all the answers. If sometimes it means crying, it's okay. You can cry. Listen to your inner voice. Often we are bombarded by external experiences. We think that leaders are so strong. Leaders have it all figured out. But what is that inner voice telling you? In that moment, sometimes you're faced with a decision to make. What is the inner voice telling you? That is why you must have values. Your inner voice will be informed by your values. If you're Christian, born again, you love Jesus and doing the will of God, you will have values that are tied to who Jesus is, right? So when you are faced with a decision as a leader, you must make that decision based on your values. So you must listen to your inner voice. And that inner voice will communicate based on the values that you embody. So lead with empathy and compassion. Don't be a stiff leader who does not give people a chance. And this reminds me of my experience in between 2018 and 2020. I was going through a very tough season in my life. And at work at the time, I was working as a communications officer for an international NGO. And the HR was so unempathetic. I was going through a health challenge that would keep me in the hospital for weeks. The moment I'm discharged, get back home, I'll need to get back to the hospital. So my entire life in 2020 exactly was hospital, home, hospital, home. Such that I missed months and weeks at work. It gave me such a bad reputation at work, and the HR would not understand. Sometimes she would even tell me, you need to give me details. What is happening? What are they saying? Give me details of the health. I'm not supposed to give you details of my health condition. All you need is just the note from the medical doctor. Rennette is on sick leave. She needs bed rest. You don't need the details, okay? But she did not want to understand, so she gave me a lot of query letters at work, and it cost me my relationship with my direct boss, the executive director. But we need more leaders, and that's a woman. At the time, that's the period where I lost my first child. Until the day I lost my baby, then I sent a note to work that I finally lost my baby. That's where she said, well, sorry, je ne savais pas. I didn't know that that's what was happening. But you don't need to have all the details. When people that are in your care, when they tell you what they are going through, all you need to do as a leader is just to be compassionate. Don't be too stiff. Nobody leads people well to a successful place by being stiff, by being rigid, by not being understanding. So you must embody empathy and compassion. Don't wait for the worst to happen to them before you start saying, oh, I did not know. I didn't know. Maybe you want to hear that someone died. That you said, I didn't know that's what she was going through. But you had a chance to see them. So see people and understand them. Okay? When you lead authentically, you don't just inspire people, but you ignite a movement. You give other people the chance to equally lead authentically. When you see people for who they are, accept their truth, you give them a chance to also see others. So it creates a ripple effect. Imagine the level of trauma that we are experiencing today is because of years of inherited trauma. A mother inherits it from her mother, passes it on to her children, and the children pass it on to their own children. So it becomes, you think that it's how do generational curses work? And it's very easy to break them. You don't need, it's true, some need days of fasting. But I usually say it's very easy to break generational patterns, evil patterns. Just do the right thing. Let it end with you. If you realize that there is a pattern of poor behavior or late marriages in your family, just be a different one. Marry early. And you've broken it. If you realize that there is a pattern of poverty in your family, work hard, make money by all costs, the right way, of course, okay? And just break it. Just make sure that you make a different decision that will stop that thing from happening with you. That way you will not have to pass it on to the generation that's after you. So that's why I say when you lead authentically, you lead with empathy, all of that, you give people a chance to also lead with empathy. You create a ripple effect. But when you lead with rigidity, with harshness, not being compassionate, you're creating another ripple effect. You're making monsters that will also make other monsters. And we wonder why some systems are bad. It is about what the leaders are doing, passing it on to the others. Now let's look at practical steps to cultivate authentic leadership. We were looking at how to be authentic, right? But now how do you cultivate that authentic leadership? Remember I talked about self-reflection. Now this is it, self-reflection. Take time to understand your values. This is the core of being authentic. Understand your values, your strength, your passion, even your insecurities. Leaders have insecurities. We have fears. And I can tell you, even the best public speakers, before they get on stage, they have stage frights. And even after speaking, they will still tell themselves, I should have spoken like this, I should have spoken like that. So take your time to understand yourself, understand your values. Okay? And journaling is one of the things that helped me a lot on my journey as a leader. I write a lot, journaling. So have a book. It's not just when you go to church, you take notes, or at conferences like this. You can journal your journey to becoming the authentic leader that you want to become. Every day, you can choose that these are the different things I want to cultivate in my life to become this picture that I have in mind. Remember, it's purpose in action, right? You have a purpose to fulfill. So what are the steps you have to take to fulfill that purpose? So you have a picture, a mental image of what you want to become. So every day you can write the steps. What do I need to do to become that person? So you can journal. Excuse me. We've talked about self-reflection. Challenge, the next thing is to become that authentic leader, to cultivate authentic leadership, you have to challenge the inner critic. So many times we have voices in our heads telling us, some people call it the imposter syndrome, telling us that we are not enough, that we are not good enough, we cannot do it. And maybe I'm sure that's one of the voices that were telling you that you're still a baby, you're still growing. But you are leading, even your siblings, in one way or the other. The lifestyle that you are showing or that you are living, that's leadership. Don't look at something big. I'm here to challenge you to not look at the big picture. Leadership starts from the very little things. In the neighborhood, when people come to buy, if you run a store and you give them wrong change, let's call it that way, or you hold back their balance, you're not leading properly. You know there's good leadership and there's bad leadership, right? So you can lead people, influence people in the right way, and equally influence people in the wrong way. So when maybe a young girl comes to you, complains to you about something, and you carry the story she told you to gossip about it, in quote prayer, sometimes they will say, this sister, this is what is happening, and then they'll end up by saying, let's just pray for her. But you just finish gossiping about her. That's not leadership. You're influencing those people around you badly. And that's what's going to continue. But you know, I have one of my mentors, Kami Musa, she always says that when gossip gets to her, it dies. She doesn't entertain it. So the moment somebody brings gossip, it's like she has made her life a barrier. And that's one of the things I've been practicing too. You don't come to me with gossip. We have more important things to discuss. Let's talk projects. There are so many things we can talk about, not just about people. Okay? Tearing them down. So, what was I talking about? Your inner critic. Challenge it. That voice that keeps telling you that you cannot do it, that you're not enough. And how do you challenge it? By speaking it. Your words are more powerful than your thoughts. That is why the Bible says that the power of the tongue, of life and death, rather, lies in the tongue. It didn't say lies in the mind. Okay? That's because you can think things, but if you do not proclaim them, they might not come to pass. So when those thoughts are in there telling you that you are not enough, that you cannot do it, that you cannot even speak, they cannot even hear you, what are you going to say? You will not even make sense. Challenge it by speaking out. Don't just Stay quiet. If you stay quiet, it grows. Before you know it, those thoughts will suppress your voice. So you must come to that place. That's why it's a conscious journey. You must choose to do it. Make that conscious decisions. When those thoughts start running in your mind, rise, even if it means standing up and shouting. Sometimes in my house, my children will just see me, I will shout. And they'll say, what's happening? Because I'm trying to suppress something that's coming through my mind. I will speak what I want to say. So you must learn to suppress the inner critic by speaking, prophesying, if I'm going to use that word, what you want to see. Because why? Your words are more powerful than your thoughts. The next point, practice vulnerability. Start small. Be honest. Okay? Don't just claim to have it all figured out. From your home with your children, be honest with them. If you're telling your children that no TV before midday, don't be the first person as a mother or a father to put on the TV set in the morning at 8 a.m. Because they will see what you're doing, not what you're saying. So lead authentically. So you must practice that vulnerability. When you say there's no TV before midday and your hands are itching to put on the TV set and watch football or whichever program, put those hands down. In fact, go and grate cocoyams. Use the hands to do something else. If that hand is going to cause you not to be that authentic leader, cut the hands off. That's to be harsh. Like the Bible says, if your eye will cause you not to enter the kingdom of heaven, what do? Pluck it out. Okay? So you must start small. Be true to yourself wherever you are. When you set rules in your house, like in my house, there are rules. There are values. We have regulations. Some things don't happen. When my kids wake up in the morning, they know during holidays, this is what happens between the time we wake up to when we have our first bath. You have to have breakfast. Even my 3-year-old, he has his chores. You don't do it, no breakfast. There is no negotiation. So when those are little things that's why I say start small. When you set those little rules from that very grassroots level, you teach them how to model leadership. So when they don't do it, don't compromise. Say, no, he's just a child. Let me just let him eat first. No. Go and do your chore. Have you cleaned all the toys from the living room? Yes, Mama. I'll go and supervise. He has not done it. No breakfast. He must do it to the last toy he has left the sitting room. If you don't want to clean it, don't mess up the place. Okay? So when we need to hold people accountable at that level and don't compromise the rules you put in place. When compromise sets in, then your leadership is faulty. People will not respect your words anymore. They'll just say, it just talk and talk. You know, she will not see it through. I'm trying to think how to put it in pidgin. Do do nothing. So you must set those rules. Start small. Even with the 1-year-old, those kids are very smart. And they don't just hear what you're saying, they are watching you. They want to see what mommy will do. This thing that mommy has said, we should respect it. And one day, I told my son that nobody should eat their meat before finishing their food, because they have a habit of eating their meat. Then now they'll start just playing with the food. I was okay, let's try something. All of us are eating. Make sure you finish your food before the meat. So in the course of it, I mistakenly ate my meat. And he said, Mommy, you have eaten your meat. Mommy, you have eaten. And the way the guy said it, like, he was attacking me. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, okay, I'm sorry. I had to apologize. But those are little things. We might look at it like that's insignificant. But it's from there that leaders are made. When you say things, your children are watching. They want to see if you're going to uphold your own values, the principles you've put in place in your house. No Nigerian films in my house, for instance. So I don't remember the last time I watched a Nigerian movie. Even if I want to watch, I will wait when my kids have slept before I watch. Because I don't want them to do something that I've told them not to, that we're not doing. So even if somebody comes into my home, you're not going to watch it. You must not watch it. If you're too hungry for a Nigerian movie, go home. Go to your house. Because it's a standard, and we are raising leaders. If we're going to be authentic, then we need to tell ourselves the truth. When we set rules, have values, respect them. Be the first to respect them. Then those following you, your children, your workers, will follow. It will be easy for people to follow you when you don't break your own rules. Don't make yourself the exception. Okay? Sometimes I tell my son, nobody should touch your pennies. So I teach him, like, from 2 years, I started talking to him about sex education. It's something very important for us to adopt very early with our children. And so one day I was giving him his bath, and I touched his pennies. He said, "Mommy, you have touched my pennies." Mommy, that's why he was crying. I'm like, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't intend to do it. I was just giving you a bath." And I had to explain to him why I had to touch his pennies, because I had to wash him. He had not yet learned how to wash his private part by himself. I took time to explain to him why that happened before he calmed down and we could continue his bathing time. When we set rules early from the small things around us, it creates room for us to even grow to bigger spaces of leadership. Because if you do not do well in those little things, trust me, it's not when you become the executive director that you do well. You will tell your employees work starts at 8 and you come at 10. And you wonder why everybody starts suddenly coming late. Remember what the Bible says. The words we speak, what are they? They are spirit and they are life. So you're not just communicating words. You're communicating a spirit. You're communicating life. So when your children hear you speak, they're not just hearing what you're saying. There is a life that you're transmitting to them. So you must be authentic. You must be real. Hold yourself accountable. Okay? I almost said amen. All right. So, I was saying that you should practice vulnerability, right? Now, one of the next steps you need to take to cultivate authentic leadership is seek feedback from the right people, of course. Seek feedback. When you do things, step back and ask people, what do you think? After such an event, for instance, send out feedback forms and let people say what they think, how it made them feel, what impact it brought into their lives. Even in your home, seek feedback. There are times that I call my kids one after the other. What do you think about mommy? What do you think about daddy? You know, the way I've been behaving lately, do you think it's okay in line with the values that we've been learning? You'll be shocked. One day my teenager told me something that really broke my heart. I had to repent. It is hard. But if we are going to lead authentically, then we must practice these little things that make us stand out. Okay? Now, the last thing is be a role model. Live your truth. If you want to live authentically, then you need to live your truth. Your authentic self is the most powerful inspiration you can offer to the people around you, to your children, to your workplace, to anywhere that you find yourself. Especially the young girls and women looking up to you anywhere you are. Be a role model. When you say something, hold yourself to it. See that you do what you have said you're going to do and put it in action. Be the first to practice what you're preaching. Don't wait, okay? So, as we redefine leadership, we are not just challenging a title or a role. We are transforming lives. Remember, your leadership is not just about a role. It's about transforming lives. Influence. Remember what we said about leadership at the beginning? John Maxwell says leadership is influence. And you can influence people either positively or negatively. You are influencing people to make a decision. So think about it as you go from here. Are your actions influencing people to make the right decision or to make the wrong decision? Thank you very much.
Thank you. A bigger round of applause. That was very powerful. That was so powerful.